Disclaimer. This podcast showcases business partners and friends that engage in lively conversations about books over many drinks. Content may not be suitable for viewers under 21.
All right. Are we recording? Okay, perfect.
Okay. Have anything in my teeth?
No. Good.
Good.
Party. You ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Ready.
To another episode of Books and Booze.
I'm Leilani.
And I am Kristen. And we created this podcast to bring you on a journey with us of literature and libations. Because, well, we enjoyed getting, developing ourselves and learning more about business.
Yeah.
While having a drink. Or four.
Yeah.
Five. Just a few.
But just having great conversation about what we've learned in a very fun atmosphere.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's been amazing. So, we say it every time. Grab a good book.
Get some great booze.
And grab a great buddy to share it with. So here we go. We are trying.
What are we drinking, Kristen?
So this is this is a Florida distributed spirit.
Okay.
Again, kind of like,
Lake Ridge?
No.
Oh, Keel and Curly?
No.
Oh, Dynasty.
Dynasty Spirits.
Yes. Okay.
Very aloof. Couldn't find out a lot about them, for the vodka, the Tower vodka. Well, this Capriccio, I think is how it's pronounced. Capriccio Craft Cider. They're actually known for their sangrias.
Oh, okay.
And then they have a few they have a white sangria, a red sangria. It looks like they're expanding their portfolio, which is very exciting.
Okay.
But not a lot about who literally makes this. All I could find out that it's the Florida Caribbean Distillers, which is based here in they have facilities in Central Florida, but based out of Florida. So, they distribute this, and it has grown nationally, which is exciting. Their sangria especially. I'm a fan of cider, so thank you for grabbing some ciders.
Yeah, I had a time trying to find a good craft winery to go after. We already knew about Lake Ridge. We knew about Keel and Curly.
Yep.
But, unfortunately, because the way wine is regulated,
not a lot in Florida.
Yeah, and to get anything from the outside of Florida that didn't come from Washington or California was kind of hard.
It was a challenge.
Yeah.
So Keel and Curly really surprised me. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was fun. So I'm excited to try this. Little hesitant. That's why I'm glad we're doing small first.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, we are, because it's a cider. It's not a wine. Right. So we said, okay, let's go ahead and shot glass it. Make sure we like it. Before we pour ourselves a whole glass. So here we go.
Here we go. We're about to try this.
Cheers, my friend.
Cheers. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's really sweet.
It is very sweet. Like even sweeter. I know at New Year's we get the kids the sparkling cider.
Yeah.
I dare say this is sweeter than the sparkling cider that's not alcoholic.
I mean,
we get them.
Kristen, I think for the first time, I'm going to have to say I'm not a fan. I like all types of wines.
Mm-hmm.
And I've drank sweet wines, but I'm not particularly a fan of this. And maybe because I'm thinking of it as a wine, but it's really a cider. But I've had other ciders. And
well, and it's not like a hard cider either. I mean, it is in theory, but I think it's presented as a wine. So how should we enjoy this today? She's disappearing on me. I'm just going to go concoct something. Clank, clank, clank. What are you doing? Okay,
let's
change it up
try
a bit.
It this way, okay?
Okay.
All right. So, and
put this in here.
Just go dump your
some of the fruits.
Dump your fruits in there.
Okay.
Let's try that.
I like what you're doing.
Okay.
Okay.
And then let's
put some fruits in there.
Get some soda up in there.
Okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And
add
let's put a floater.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Maybe we can even do a little bit more.
Yeah, let's do
a little bit more in there.
Thank you.
All right.
So kind of a makeshift sangria in concept, right?
Concept, right?
Okay.
Oh no. Well, maybe. Hey, Capriccio, if we like it, you can name it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's try this.
Let's try this. Okay. All right. It's 90 degrees out.
Oh yeah. So much
call,
better.
my friend. Okay. And a little bit of bubbles.
Yeah.
Nice job.
This is great.
All right. We got another
Annie, you
business.
have to try this one.
Nice. So this month, instead of doing like one book that we spread out, we are wanting to give you options to take on a quick 1 week vacation and something you could read to grow your mindset or your bank account or what have you.
Yeah.
So this whole month, we're just ping-ponging around various amazing books and trying different,
Well, we switched to wines.
Yeah.
Bottled. Well, instead of being distilled, we're looking for brewed. So
yeah,
we switched to that for the summer, which is one of the reasons why we picked up Capriccio over here.
Right. But that's really nice. So you basically added some berries, and I bet had it sat a little longer with the berries.
Maybe muddled the berries.
Muddled the berries, absolutely. I probably even put some apple slices in there.
Oh, yeah. That's true. It's actually a really good summer drink. Thinking about it. All right, guys. So I'm not a fan of drinking Capriccio by itself. However, as a mixer.
We haven't tried the others.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
The cider. I'm not a fan of the cider. However,
we added some like sparkling.
It's like a spritzer.
Like a spritzer, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Turning it into a spritzer is fantastic.
Cheers. So now, grab a good book.
Get some great booze.
Grab a good buddy to fix it and read it with. Right?
Sure.
Yes. Cheers. All right. So, you're the one that told me about this book.
Eat the Frog.
Yes, that frog.
I don't really remember how I came across it, to be honest.
Okay.
I think I probably heard it from maybe another book that I was reading, and so of course that's usually how it starts, right?
The domino effect.
Yeah.
Okay.
As you're reading a book, typically the author will make other suggestions based on what you're reading to help you expand your knowledge base, and I believe that's how I ran across this one.
Love it. Well, I didn't realize it was written by Brian Tracy till I got my book, and I was like, I've been listening to various short YouTube videos. He does a lot of speaking at different corporations and things like that, all around, and he does different guest appearances on things, but he's all around systems that make you successful, I guess is the best way that I could sum it up.
Okay.
So when I started reading this book, I mean, I felt like, yes, everything that I had heard him say before on different things that I've listened to, it's been phenomenal. So this book really is, Brian Tracy says success is predictable. And I would agree. I mean, there are factors that come out of left field that you have to pivot with.
Yeah, but it's
but
not
the system.
I think that's one thing you can hear quite often is someone go and say, "Oh my God, you're so lucky." And it's like, is it really luck though, or is it that you just made predictable moves in order for a greater outcome?
Yeah, you put a system in place, rinse and repeat, like you said.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and here it's so funny. Brian Tracy says, "Why don't we go ahead and do what other successful people are doing?"
You mimic.
Yeah, absolutely. So he has interviewed successful people. He himself is successful. And the phrase, you read this book first, the concept, eat the frog. You told me about this almost a year ago.
Yeah, I like it. I didn't always stuck. So we're going to go into the book, but the concept is if you have the most difficult thing to do, like if you had to make a list of everything you needed to do, and one of those things is that you needed to eat a giant, juicy frog, okay? Would you rather get that done right away and the first thing in the morning, just get it over with? Or would you procrastinate and prolong the thought of having to eat a frog your entire day and do it at the end?
I wouldn't want to eat a frog, but if you get that over with first,
then you don't have to think about it for the rest of your day. Versus if you put it off to the end, you're thinking about it, you're cringing, you're like, oh, I don't want to, and it's affecting all the other work you're having to do. until you get to the point of having to do what you need to do, or sometimes you don't even do it. You put it off again for the following day.
So true.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what he says. He says, take action quickly and learn those successful habits and make it become a way of life.
Yep. Yep.
So he has lists. His whole book is lists.
Yeah, because like, if you notice the
Patrick should be friends.
Yeah, but I dare say the last one, Babylon.
Richest Man of Babylon. There's a bunch of lists too. Yes. Okay. Might be onto something here. This was a good call. Add the little sparkle and the berries to it.
I like it. Yeah.
Right? And it's like 90 degrees outside.
Yeah, like I'm actually going to get a refill now.
Right?
I wasn't before. I'm going to get a refill.
You know what, though? I think that's, okay, deviating from the book just a moment here, but I think that's, there could be something great about anything. You just got to fine tune it for what it is your palate is.
You said that. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't doubt I have a couple friends who love a good Moscato.
Oh,
they love a sweet wine. They will probably love
we
that.
have family members that love Angry Orchard, right?
See, I like Angry Orchard. This I feel is closer, probably because of the sparkle.
Maybe because of the sparkle.
We added
this
the
was
carbonated
a little
water.
Effervescent too, but
A little bit.
man, I don't know. I'm sorry, but something was missing. I don't know what it is. We fixed it
for us.
Yeah,
our palate.
For our palate.
Okay, so back to the book here. So Brian Tracy talks about the 3 Ds to form a habit. And which is interesting because, we read Atomic Habits months ago. And this is really much aligned with some of what we read in Atomic Habits. The very first is making a decision. Like you have to decide what it is your goal is or what it is you want to accomplish.
Part of the action.
Yep. Mm-hmm. The second is discipline. Do it over and over and over and over.
Yes, until it becomes a habit.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. And then third is determination. Stick to it, even if it's hard.
And that's a part of being persistent.
Mm-hmm.
I think in anything, anything. It's not even just business. In anything, just having enough persistence in doing something. So that discipline of doing it, like going to the gym, right? I'm working on that, guys. Okay, I hit it. I'm working on that right now. Getting the discipline to continue going on my daily walks, continue, to work on my health and stuff like that. But it is persistent.
Yep.
And over time will become, what was the second one?
Discipline.
No.
And then determination.
Determination to keep going over and over again turns into discipline, which is that habit, right?
Yep.
And now you're just doing it.
Yeah.
By stance.
Well, and I think, when we had read Atomic Habits, he was even mentioning like what makes some of these great athletes so successful versus the ones who aren't. And the greatest athletes are successful because they don't mind the grind of practice.
Yeah.
So, he talks about discipline and determination here. It's so true. There's going to be a point where it's not that fun, to be honest.
No, it's not. I dare say with, we're talking about the athletes and stuff like that. I believe that formula, a successful athlete has already broken it down. So when I say that is that an athlete at one point in their youth or in their life almost gave up. Mm-hmm. They did not want to do it. They didn't want to wake up in the morning. They didn't want to be so disciplined, right? But someone kept pushing them or they kept pushing themselves, either way. And then they finally saw the end goal and they're like, oh man, yeah, I finally made it. I did good, this and that. So now when they're faced with another challenge, they always refer back to that and say, man, but I still remember that feeling of accomplishment. So I'm going to keep going.
Keep going.
So that feeling of accomplishment is what makes them persevere through all the other obstacles and push through. And so that's why I'm like, for anyone who hasn't done that yet, right? Because we all go through that challenge of we want to give up. Refer back to a moment when you were truly capable. You accomplished it. You met the end goal, and think about how that feeling.
That feeling, yes.
And that's what will keep you going.
That's so true. One would say that's your why.
Yes. Could be for the feeling. It could be if your why is based on you want that capricious feeling again.
Yep.
Then yes. Yeah, so.
Very good. Love that. So we got those 3 Ds to form a habit. Now the rest of the book is really 21 steps. A list. The list of 21 different options that you could combined.
Yeah, you can combine them or even one-off or piecemeal it to fit you. That can help you.
It's not 21 steps. It's 21, basically, suggestions.
Options.
For how to be more productive with your time. And it all centers around going after that really tough, probably most lucrative decision that you need to do. And it's the hardest. And he's saying, eat that frog first thing.
Yeah.
Get after that one. Yeah. So we're not going to literally go through all 21. I thought we could kind of ping pong and then, but some of the first ones I thought were the most powerful. Some of them I thought as I got later in, I'm like, oh, it's kind of a deviation of this one, but okay, I like that. Some people might appreciate that path better. But the first one, I really like this. He calls it set the table. He says, be clear about what you want to, what your goals are and the objectives, and then write it down.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge.
And he says less than 3% of people write their goals down.
Yeah.
And I find it interesting that really less than 3% are the world's wealthiest. I'd be curious if less than 3% of people write their goals down, the 3% who do, where do they fall within the world's wealthiest or most successful? I don't know. He didn't allude to that in that, but I'm just like, you always hear about the 1%.
The 1%ers. Yeah. It is, talking about writing down your goals. So I don't know if you go through it or you guys go through it, but there's a lot of times where you go and say, oh, I want that. Oh, I want that. Oh, I would love to have this type of thing because it makes me feel this way. So you go through your, the compare and contrast through your entire being. Your experience on this planet is all about what you want, what you don't want, right? But how many of us actually take the time to write down the things that we want, even the tiniest
little things?
Yeah, and I'll be honest, before reading this book, I didn't do it. I think very rarely, and maybe just by consequence did I write down something I wanted because maybe I was told to do so. But after reading this, I made it an active, a conscious effort to make sure I write down my desires, my wants, my goals, my all of that, because I wanted to be that 3%.
Some people would argue and say, oh, that's being materialistic. That's being...
It's okay. I'm all right with that. That's where you have to go and say, I don't care.
Yeah. And I don't know that is, though. You know what I mean? Well, people are allowed to perceive things the way they want to.
And everyone has their own idea, their own perception. Everything's relative. And I'm okay if you consider whatever I'm wanting is materialistic. That sounds like a you problem.
I love that. I love that. And also, as far as you can get from the scarcity mindset. Yeah. Which is huge when it comes to being successful. Yeah. So, number 2 is plan a day in advance. So, like, if you know there's something you need to do, set yourself up for success for that. Yeah. Which is so true. You think about, okay, family outing to the beach. Look at all the prep you do the night before, especially we moms. Yeah. We cut the fruits. Yeah. We get everything on ice. We probably preload the car as much as you can. Yeah. Right?
Well, and it's just, we're super analytical to begin with. So, of course, we have like 18 different things on what should be a 3-item list. We have 18. But yes, right? You want to make sure that everything is planned in advance if you can. I actually learned this from an old coworker. She went to a time management course, so maybe she went to this one. I don't know. And that's pretty much what she said. She said she would actually sit down the Friday before and plan her week going forward.
That's so smart.
Yeah. So sometimes daily is a little bit harder. In my case, I don't do it daily. I do it weekly. But what I do is review the day before on what's coming up for the following day. And depending on what happened in my day, because things happen, fires happen, right? You can move things around to accommodate.
That's so true. And you introduced me to Trello, which was awesome. Because you can go in and you could see what's on your plate for the month, the week, and then you can, for the next day, and you can move things around.
You love it, though.
Oh, my gosh.
I know.
So
I remember
helpful.
I was person just said that you're like, oh, my gosh, it's a lot. But afterwards, having a project management tool. So Trello is one of the ones we use. Saige Consultants uses Trello. But there's Monday.com out there. There's Asana. There's a lot of different AI tools that have really developed in the last year that can really just help you
plan
and project management, and kind of the two go together, you know. And
even put your goals in there.
Yes, you can. I've done it. Yes, you can.
It's amazing. Another option he suggests is applying the 80-20 rule.
Yes.
And I do love that. And it's the 80-20 rule. There's a lot of different ways you can look at this for your business, for your life. But what he's saying here is that 80% of your money comes from 20% of your, as a business owner, 80% of your income from your business is probably only coming from 20% of your goods or services. Yeah. Or there's so many different ways to break it down.
100%. Actually, we talked about that in the pumpkin plan. Remember?
Yes.
You focus on your top clients that are bringing in 80% of your income.
Or your top services.
Yeah, your top services.
And then hone in on your area of innovation.
I actually, we apply the 80-20 rule in B-Chic when it comes to what products we're offering, because we can already know if we offer, just going to give you an example. If we offer 100 new products, we already know 20% of them are going to fall in either type A, B, or C sellers. And then from there, we can calculate out the 20% of A, B, and C sellers. And so an A seller is something that sells every single day, multiple times a day, right?
Yep.
B sellers are the ones that maybe once a day, once a week, and your C sellers are maybe once a month, right? And so based on the 80-20 rule alone, we can figure out if we introduce this amount of products in, how many are going to fall in A, B, or C.
That's amazing. Yeah. And it helps you probably with buying in depth. So you don't overbuy if possible.
If possible. Sometimes it doesn't help, but at least you already know, all right, I need to introduce this many products to the market in order to recover the expenses of introducing the other 90 or 80 of them that didn't profit. Yeah.
Makes sense. But very true with that. I love that. This one I feel like maybe Patrick McDavid from Your Next 5 Moves. Brian Tracy says, consider the consequences and think long term, meaning you got to think ahead. So if I do this, or if I don't do this, or what do I need to do to get here? You know, because this is all about being productive, time management, everything like that. So thinking ahead. I think that's
Next 5 Moves.
Yes. He talks about being creative with your procrastination. There's certain things that you have to say, I'll do that later. But I feel like he put the cart before the horse, because it was option number 6 that I loved, the ABCDE method.
Oh, yeah, ABCDE. Yeah, go ahead. I'll chime in later.
Well, I just think this is amazing, because you list everything that you need to get done on your day, or that you think you need to get done. You know, sometimes we as business owners, we're running around and we're like, I have to do this. He says, okay, list everything out. What are your A tasks? And your A tasks are things that are the most important, things that will actually make you money.
Direct relation to your end goal.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. B are things that also need to get done, but you cannot do them until A is completed. And then C are tasks that are nice to do, but there's no consequence whether it happens or not. And then D, that stands for things that can be delegated. And E stands for things that really should just get eliminated. But you just had to write them down because you thought they were important, or you've enjoyed doing them. So that ABCDE method could be so helpful. Because it's true, as business owners, we wake up and we almost get into this like victim mindset. I'm doing all of this stuff for my business. But okay, wait, what do you really need to do for your business?
Is any of that actively moving you towards the direction of your end goal? I've suffered through many. I think that was one of the biggest factors that helped me when I went to prioritizing what my tasks were. Because there are things that would be nice to have completed, right? So be like, it'd be nice to go ahead and fix this thing on the website, but it was not a structural component to the website. It didn't prevent people from actually converting things into
fluff and pretty.
Exactly. Yeah, but it wasn't inhibiting the functionality of the website, right? So that's actually not a priority. First, it could be delegated out. I didn't need to do it. Second, it's not a priority because it wasn't affecting the sales, right? Now, something happened in the website. You had bots on your website or something. Yeah. Now that it gets escalated up a bit because it could be prohibiting you from
driving sales.
Driving sales,
Mhm.
which would result in your end goal, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a
Yes.
good one.
That was just an example. That was like a fluffy example. I've got a ton more, but I'm not saying it on camera.
My goodness, he has so many on here. He says, apply the law of 3. Write down everything you do the whole week for your business and pick the number 1 most important.
Yeah.
And he keeps going back to saying, eat the frog. So that number 1 most important is what you should do first.
Yeah, well,
First
and I
thing.
think in the rule of 3, I believe in the rule of 3 for everything. Like Patrick at David and Next 5 Moves, he liked the rule of 3 when you wanted to present a new idea, you have 3 different ways of having it completed and 3 different ways that it was going to affect the business and 3 different, everything was rule of 3. I like it in this case as well because for me, the rule of 3 is saying, okay, there are 3 major things I want completed and my goal for my business, right? There are 3 different ways of accomplishing it. There are 3 different obstacles that could be in my way of accomplishing it. There are 3 different steps to overcoming each one of those obstacles. And so when you start breaking it down in 3, your tree can go wide, but you apply the ABCD to it, and now you can prioritize which one of those
is going to drive results.
and you focus on the 3.
Love that.
Yeah.
And that's a neat combination of those 2 together. I guess you've done that maybe.
Yeah.
Let's see here. He says, you know what, this one was good too. Focus on the key areas. And he talks about key areas, and he was really specific in this. And I would agree. Your key areas to focus on is what is going to get you new clients, or what is going to build relationships and trust with your existing clients, or what is going to help uncover needs for innovation.
Yeah.
So like if you feel like something's gone stagnant or you're not sure, a lot of people are like, what should I do to open my own business? Well, where's there a need that you can fill? Fourth is working on a persuasive presentation. I don't think you wanted to call it a sales pitch, but
it is. You got sales, get the money in. You got marketing, get the people to buy your stuff to get the money in, right? And then you're making the phone calls and stuff in your organization to make sure that things are happening the way they should be happening. Right?
Absolutely.
Operationally.
And then number 5 is overcoming objections. 6 is closing the deal. And 7 is getting resales. So he's like, if the tasks that you want to do aren't within those 7 key areas, chances are it's not that important of a task.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think that's really, and that almost, I don't know that that's so much a step. I feel like that should be more of a fundamental. Like
I 100% agree. Yeah. If it doesn't fall within those elements, then you're wasting your time.
wasting your time. Yeah.
Yeah. And anything talking about the website thing, nice and pretty and all that is one thing, but that's not going to get you the sale, right? Beyond that, what is going to get you the sale? And you want to double down on that, right? And I think sometimes what I find with a lot of new and upcoming entrepreneurs is they get really stuck on how things look versus the functionality of capturing the sale.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And finding where is your client and how are you going to go after your client?
Yeah.
I really like this one. And we heard about this a little bit in Richest Man in Babylon. Upgrade your key skills. Learn what you need to learn to work more efficiently, more effectively.
We hear this all the time, though. We heard it in Next 5 Moves. We heard it in the Pumpkin Plan. We heard it in Richest Man in Babylon. We're here, like education. Educate yourself, right? Continually be in the mindset of always learning new things. And don't assume you know these things. Do your research and find it out for sure.
And especially today, things that you knew how to do years ago are probably null and void as far as a task load or like technology wise, especially. So, okay, so many great ones in here. I like this one. And this kind of goes back to Atomic Habits too. Focus your attention. So stop what you're doing. Like when you know you need to get a task done, but you're like, oh, let me just go check my email really quick. Let me go see if I got any likes on social media.
No, shut that down. Shut that down. when you're going to do something, when Atomic Habits talked about it, put your phone in a drawer, close all your windows, focus in on exactly what you need to do, eliminate the distractions. Because first you're going to need, your attention span needs to be this
On that.
big for that particular product, or for that project. So, because if it's something you've been putting off for a while, that means it's something you don't really want to do. And so if you have
something you need to do,
but it is something you need to do, so these distractions become excuses from you accomplishing what you need to get done. So eliminate distractions, 100%.
Yep. And then I actually really love this one. When you know you have a big task at hand, he calls it slice and dice, and then create large chunks of time. So it's basically the idea of, okay, if I need to get this done, here is the first step that I need to do. I'm going to do this today. Yeah. And then I will go check my email, what have you. Or maybe go get some food, come back, fresh mindset, re-hit the start button, and do the second step or the second part of it.
Yeah.
I'm in a lot of different, networking groups and things like that. And a lot of times new business owners they feel so overwhelmed and they're asking, what to do. And the advice is unanimous. It's like time blocking.
I do
can
that.
be huge. And Trello can help you stay organized with that. Yeah. But you got to put the phone down. You have to have a plan. And if you're working with somebody or you're working from home, your family needs to know, I am untouchable for 30 minutes or 2 hours or what have you. I remember you even told me a story, a situation where you had to rework something, the functionality within your business. And you just set yourself in your office by yourself.
Yep.
And your whiteboard. And
just said,
you got to figure this out.
I need to figure this out.
You had to eat your frog.
And I built on something from another book that I read, where once a month I'll take the opportunity of just planning my month. So time blocking helps, right? And taking the rule of 3. So let's just say you have this task, and most tasks that you need to have accomplished, big ones. You got a research paper to write, you have a proposal to write, or whatever it is. Typically, you can segment that task into what? 3. Okay?
True.
And so split it into 3s. And so whether or not you needed to finish it that day, maybe you say, I'm going to settle a couple hours in the morning, take a break, a couple hours in the afternoon, take a break, a couple hours in the evening. Or you needed to separate it in 3 days or once a week or however it is. But you block out that time in 3s for that particular task. And that helped me a lot because, some prime example, there's contract proposals that take 17 hours to write up. And I already know, okay, well, let me not do this all in one day.
You have to break it up.
I'll go ahead and I'll split it up, and then I'll split it up even further in that day.
So smart.
So it might not be done in 3 days. It might take 1 week, but each of those days I'll focus 1 hour, 3 blocks of 1 hour time in order to get that thing accomplished.
Well, that allows your brain then to be okay with giving more than 100% on, because you're like, okay, I'm going to do this part, just this part. That's all you got to do, brain.
Yeah, but and that's the part of planning in advance too, is that you already kind of have an idea of what task you need to accomplish for that segment of time. So in this case, when I talk about a 17-hour proposal write-up, okay, well, I understand that if it's going to be done in 7 days and 3 parts, so 21 segments of time will be dedicated to this proposal. Well, what I'll end up doing is I'll say, okay, for this segment, I'm working on paragraph this. On this segment, I'm working on this.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're able to break it down, big project, broken down to 3, broken down to 3 more, depending on what the time frame you're looking at.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you a good idea.
But you can break it down segment by segment.
Even more.
Love
that.
Yeah, but it helps you keep on target, because then the reward I get is if I finish it early, I'm rewarded with a little bit of extra time for myself.
I love that. Yeah. Right? Under promise, over deliver.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. So I think that this book, if you're going to take this with you on vacation and you're going to sit down and read it, have a notebook or journal, or maybe even your computer, a calendar with you, because there is going to be things that you read in here that you're like, oh. And his number one thing is put it into action.
Yeah, pause and play.
Yeah. So you're going to read, I promise you, you're going to read one of his suggestions, one of these 21 suggestions for being super effective and making things happen. Something's going to click for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're going to want a notebook to write down what you need to do, what to plan, to put things in action. But yeah, really great book.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you
So
liked it.
thank you. You're good at recommending amazing books. Well, and I've, now that we're like breezing through all these books, of course, having to dig in, like, what else should entrepreneurs read? What else should business owners read? And this one has come up in so many of the various lists that are recommended, because
well, I guess that is true. Yeah.
because I'm going through and I was like, oh, we've done all those, some people like the top 20 books but yeah, this one definitely comes up because even if you're managing a business, you're not necessarily responsible for owning it, but you're managing it, you are responsible to getting things done regularly.
Yeah.
Or you just want to manage your household, right? This can help with
anything time management wise, prioritization as well. I think that's a huge struggle that a lot of individuals go through, is how to prioritize your tasks and make sure that you're being the most effective with your time. Great tool.
So thank you, friends, for joining us. I hope your summer vacation is going amazing.
Yes.
And help us grow this tribe. Please like, subscribe, but
Share.
really important, share.
I'm sorry.
No, share it, please. Right, that helps us, and it gets us out there. Is there somebody that has listened to one of these? There's someone that after you listen to these would benefit from.
Yeah, please, because and if this impacted you in any way, please make a comment below. We'd love to hear from you.
We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, and if it impacted you even more, share, because that means that it could impact someone else.
Absolutely. So, friends, grab a great book.
Some good food.
And grab a great buddy to share it with. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Summer vacation.
Woo.
Bye. There you go. See with the berries in there.
Say no, but yeah, the marinade's a little bit too spray.
Let's go.
It's good. We fixed it.
We did.
Okay. All right.
Kev.
Kev is talking.
Kev is pooping.
Oh my gosh. All right. Perfect.
And that's a wrap.